Hello class, welcome Western Civ 104, and just to say I am excited to start a new semester. I'm always excited to start a new semester, and I love the subject matter. I love to teach, and I think this is a really, I think all historical topics are important, but for those of you who are taking this class, you're in a college setting, and the school systems that we have grown up in, those of us who have been living in the West for most of our lives, are getting an education in a particular way that's rooted in the history which we are about to cover. In other words, our political life, our education life, everything that we do right now is based on the development of Western civilization. And some of the things people can view as very negative and others as positive. I'm going to try to give you the full breadth of that for this class. And I'm looking forward to also sharing experiences that I have been having for the last several months, incorporated into the lectures and my announcements. Because I mentioned this in my last announcement. I realize that some of you will maybe have not watched the introduction video, so I'll briefly again say, right now I'm currently in Hua Hin, Thailand, right now. And since August, I have been traveling the world. I'm not on vacation. I am a digital nomad right now. I have been a single father most of my adult life, and I made my daughter the priority, and she moved out as a 20-year-old, and I decided it was my turn to try to use this new freedom. And I've wanted to do this to also develop my knowledge firsthand of the places that I've been teaching about. And so on a very limited budget, or a very tight budget, should I say, with limited funds, I have been, doing the thing. So I started with Iceland, went to Sweden to my great-great-grandfather's and great-great-grandmother's ancestral village, and they ended up immigrating to Turlock with a lot of other Swedes at the time. That was exciting, a little heritage visit, and ended up in Germany and Thailand, and then in Netherlands and Leiden for 2 months almost, and then I'm back here. I've been for a month in Hua Hin, Thailand. And in this class, I might end up going up to Chiang Mai. But I have been doing my best to have conversations with people, follow politics, go to historical sites, and think about what I could do or what I can say to incorporate it into my announcements, or sometimes even some added lecture videos from me, to enrich your lives as students, okay? And going back to the topic that I was telling you about, being a single parent most of my life, so this is my teaching style. I am very serious about education. I want you to learn. I'm also very well aware that many of you have real adult lives, things you have to contend with. Families, some of you are in the military. The range of the demographics of my students has been very large. A wide range of students from various backgrounds, with a wide range of different kind of things that pose a challenge to them as students. And I am here to support you through those challenges. That's my point. So what is really crucial is that you always communicate with me. Communication is the key. I sometimes have students that don't show up for several assignments in a row, and then they come in and they want to turn in 7 late assignments. This is not going to work. I need you to be communicating with me at some point. You don't have to tell me, you don't owe me a very personal story. You might have something very personal happen that's really making it hard for you to be focused on your classes. If you need an extension or some clarification because your mind is a little cluttered, let's work with that. And if you're having this problem all the time, then we need to have a discussion about, that's another topic that we can cover together. But you talk to me, we'll work it out, okay? Your kid's sick all night and you didn't get a chance to turn in a paper. I'm going to be sympathetic to that, especially if it's not something that I hear every assignment. But especially when there's an exception, just please communicate with me. And I will always, again, do my best to have your back. Okay, so I have my classes set up for textbooks, and I mentioned this in the other announcement, so I'm going to mention this again one more time briefly. That the status of the textbooks is just now, it's a problem every semester, and I'm frustrated with it. You do need to have one at some point. You can survive right now by just listening to the lectures, taking notes, using those notes to formulate writing a Sunday paper. So actually, let me just kind of get you up to speed on what a work week would look like and what I would expect. On average, most Thursdays you will turn in video notes. You will write notes on all the videos, just 2 points per each. Sometimes I will write that you need to write more if it's a longer video. Okay, the notes are to demonstrate you actually watched the video. Okay, so that's what I expect to see, and I want to see information that is real. Like, don't just say, Martin Luther was a man. Okay, if there was something significant to the reason why Martin Luther is a man, then okay, but why do we talk about Martin Luther? What happened in this video? I want you to write that down for me, right? And so your notes should be a reflection, again, that you've watched the videos and that you've learned something. And then for the Sunday papers, well, okay, I'll stop for a second there to say. So then also on Thursdays, you will, as a general rule, turn in discussions. Okay? And then Sundays you have the papers. Now what I would advise you to do, you're not required to do this, look at the question or the topic I have for Sunday. Keep that in mind while you're taking the notes. You can use your notes to then write the paper, Sunday paper. These Sunday papers are not research papers. They are reflection papers. They're papers that just, again, help you focus on, we're covering a lot of information. I'm not requiring you to memorize things as much as I want you to kind of bring into your mind some regularity of certain topics. I want you to show that you took the time on the topic. So if you take those video notes and you want to utilize them to then make a coherent, short one-page paper, then that's fine. And you don't need to have a bibliography for that. I'll know where the information came from. I want to really stress that I'm losing my patience with plagiarism. And I can catch plagiarism because I know what material that we've covered. And don't do it, you're going to regret it. And I'm going to make you regret it because this is not something that should be happening. And when I say regret it, I mean academically, it's not in your best interest to do this. If you are running behind on time, it's better to take a 0. Or it's even better to communicate with me and see if we can negotiate an extension, okay? But don't plagiarize, seriously, okay? It happens every semester, no matter what I say, but I'm saying it right now, don't. Okay, having said that, I find that for the most part, my students do well and they don't do that, and that makes me happy. Okay, so that's the structure. And Western civilization, of course, this isn't about the wild, wild west of the cowboy days. This is about mainly Western Europe that then, by extension, becomes beyond a geography. And it, in other words, it's not just the West as a location, but a concept that you see with the United States, with New Zealand and Australia as well. And then so much that influences the rest of the world, again, for the positive and the negative. So the last thing I just want to say for now is that we live in sensitive times. We live in turbulent times. We live in turbulent times, which is making people very sensitive and angry. And the more I've been traveling, the more I realize just how angry, let's say, people in the United States are more than even in Europe. And Europe's having its own set of like political dramas right now in different parts of it. So in the discussions, keep in mind that what I want to do, first of all, I'm really trying not to shove my politics down your throat. I have strong opinions right now, but I try not to do an unfair cram down your throat. For students, I believe in free speech. I believe in the sanctity of free speech. But this is a classroom. I also believe in the sanctity of a classroom being a place that people feel safe and respected in. Okay? So I don't want to see students saying rude things to other students. And you really need to be mature about this and like think about, come on, you're in a class setting. I may even agree with your viewpoint, but if you talk disrespectful to another student, I have to shut that down, okay? And I cannot tolerate that. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen sometimes. Now, on the other hand, please try not to be so sensitive if somebody's challenging you. And this is where college can be very healthy. If you say something in context to the material that we covered, that's important, and then you want to put a counter perspective on that in the spirit of the content so that it's significant to the classroom and that actually helps us kind of look at things. Maybe other students will read this and they will be thinking about the various ways that a subject matter, a topic can be looked at. That's healthy education, okay? And that's what I want to try to provide for you. So in the middle of the chaos of American political life, please make this the safe space. This is like, it's like in the medieval times, right? You put your weapons outside and you come into the, this is where people are not armed. You come in and this is a little safe space, okay? So that's how we do it. And again, engage with each other. Just find a balance. And if it's a little off, I'll just let you know. And it's not the end of the world. Sometimes that's how things can go. And if you feel that there's any issue with me on that regards, please let me know. Okay. So I'm going to end it there, and just say again, please always write me any questions that you have, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can all learn together this semester, and we'll be in touch.